Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Let's jump into things, see what we're dealing with today. All right, so today we've got moon sign switches, and the switching shows at 8:58 a.m. So just a little bit. We're going to go from Aquarius to Pisces. Aquarius is a air sign. Pisces is a water sign. Air is all about our words and actions. Tarot card Swords is the card that represents the symbol that represents air, swords. And then we've got Pisces, which is water. Tarot cards, that would be cups. Cups are about love, emotions. So we're going into an emotional sign on the unconscious. Now, one thing about the Pisces is they're the fish swimming in opposite directions. Why that happens is because you've got the emotions get pressed, and the emotions want to run one way, and then something else comes on that affects the emotions, and then you go the other way. And the emotions push that Pisces energy back and forth, back and forth. So the whole idea with the Pisces, like any sign that has dual ways of activity, is to find balance between the two, so you don't go from one thing to the other, that your emotional buttons don't get pushed and send you in opposite directions every other minute. So that's one of the challenges with the Pisces. So as we go into this Pisces phase, that's what our challenge is, to allow our emotions to take us into any thoughts in different directions, because our emotions can be used to play against us by those who know how to push the buttons, and certainly advertising media and those things out there know how to push them. We've got a lot of emotional things going on in the world today, so don't let your emotional buttons get pushed. And if they do, just learn how to deal with it. Learn how to bring that energy back in balance, because you're the only one in charge of those buttons. You are, okay? Nobody else outside of you. And so what you have to do is just understand how to work with them. Now, we look at our sign down here at tonight, 10:15 p.m. This is all Pacific Standard Time. There's a trine, which is a good harmonious energy between Pisces and Venus, which is communication. So those emotions are love and imagination is Venus. So between love and imagination, we've got a nice good aspect with the Pisces, with emotions, with feelings. So this could be a good time, maybe with relationships, maybe with the way that we're thinking of things, creating things, using our imagination, just really allowing our emotions to help us tap into something deeper, that we can express. That's a good thing. And then we have at 11:33 p.m. tonight a trine between Saturn, which is discipline, and our emotions. So something about disciplining our emotion takes place, something positive, okay? So that's what we got going on today. So keep your emotions in check. Of course, the sun sign is in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign, so we have earth and water are the two elements we're dealing with. So don't let the water drown the earth, and don't let the earth become so much that it washes out the water, gets rid of the water. Let's make sure the two balanced and nice, harmonious. Okay, what it is we want to create, the practical stuff, and then the emotions we have. Let them work in synchronicity. It's the best way to go. The current moon phase is 96% of the way full. We're almost to the full moon. We'll be there in the next 24 or so hours, 24 to 48. Mayan Oracle, still in the same wave spell of the moon, which is all about purification. We're down here to the kin today of the Earth, which is the 9th position on this wave spell. So today would be the 9 Earth, or the 9, which is the solar tone of intention. So the solar Earth guided by the Skywalker. The challenge for today right here is the hand, which is accomplishment. The spirit or inspiration is our like-minded energy, and our hidden power is the seed, that which is flowering within us. The phrase for today is I pulse in order to evolve, realizing synchronicity. I seal the matrix of navigation with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of space. Spaceweather.com, solar wind 364.9 kilometers per second, planetary K-index, quiet between a 1 and a 2. Our coronal holes have made some adjustments. Now we see where they are. Still sending wind this way. Solar activity. Alright, our chance for flares are down, M and X really low. The geomagnetic storm activity is about like it was the other day, maybe a little bit less. As that solar wind affects the planet, have your cameras ready as always, because you can get some nice good shots of some auroras and things like this. This is what happens when our Earth is affected by some of these geomagnetic storms. Okay, in real severe cases, it can shut down power and stuff like that. But in these cases, look at the beauty that it creates. Pretty amazing. So those are good reasons to have a camera ready, especially if you're in areas where these type of things happen. Let's get a little more insight. Here's the Suspicious Observers Report for today.
Good morning, folks. Latest from the CIOC here with an image out of Kilder Observatory. Words from the campaign. ISON definitely not fizzled, but still not getting bright enough yet for visual speculations to come true. Of course, there's still the meteor shower to come, which is my top concern with ISON, even above induced field instability in the corona upon perihelion. Quick rundown of last night's articles, discussed heavily already in the private forum. First is the earthquake Hotspot, an ancient mantle plume that is trekking across the globe at geologic speeds, currently in the North Atlantic. Starwater students. Magnetic jets of supercharged particles are the genesis of planetary nebulae. They can't find any of those without H2O, hydroxyls, in the full JPL Genesis mission elemental spectrum of the solar wind. Starwater. Last but not least, I'd love to drop the architect's line about the anomaly revealed as both beginning and end, but diligence on this Mail Online article is taking a bit longer than expected. I'd love some help from you guys today to vet this. Between the remnants of Tropical Storm Manuel, new development, and the fading Ingrid, it's a rough day for large swaths of Mexico, and their tracks suggest the same is going to be true for a few days. Except, of course, for Umberto, doing his Dude Where's My Car impression. Apparently he thinks Santa took it. South China Sea has spawned another monster. That's not a hyperbole. Look at him. Heading right for Taiwan and China. Last weather note is a tremendous temperature shift in the US and especially up into Canada. High pressure cell is regulating that clockwise motion. Heading back to Sinabung, where the evacuation now atop 6,000 people. The number at PNG is 8,000, except that's the height of a single violent exhale, signaling Bagana's awakening. Folks, the solar wind is becoming slightly unstable. There's not yet any geomagnetic disturbance, but the electron flux is so sensitive it confirms the change from ambient quiet, even if only minor. The real story right now is in the solar flares. No, we're still not anywhere near where we should be, but signs of life on the GOES X-ray flux are coming from an incoming active region on the south. When we showed it last night, we couldn't see any of this large cresting spot. Doth mine eyes deceive me? Can we get a magnetic confirmation? Oh yeah, finally a worthy contender. Welcome to the Earth-facing disk, big guy. Good luck. And given what you just saw, it seems like Mercury down there needs a proximity warning, so I've given it one. The asterisk is because the experts obviously disagree with that analysis and give no warning for Mercury. Coronal hole power is increasing, especially on the backside. We have our next coronal hole still heading towards center disk up north. Folks, the biggest quakes of the last day have been confined to Europe, and here where it meets far western Asia, they are missing about 20 aftershocks in Greece as well. Overall watch is back on the rise as coronal holes are complemented by a coming full moon to match Venus conjoining Saturn in the evening sky. Eyes open. No fear, it's 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
Alrighty, very good. Alright, so, this week, I don't have a particular theme that I'm going with for the whole week. Every day is just going to be a, random, a hodgepodge of whatever whatever. So what I want to play for you today is this video. It's called The Russians, ISON'S Orbit is Changing. I want to focus on this ISON because it's coming closer and closer to our planet. There's a lot of mysterious circumstances surrounding this comet, anywhere from the first announcement that this was the comet of the century, to the rockets that were shot up off Vandenberg, to the shutdown of the space gate, to the cryptic message by Janet Napolitano that we are going to have a natural disaster of unprecedented proportions. Those are all very strange things that are being said out there, and gives us reason to want to look. And for those who have been paying attention to the stories here and elsewhere on ISON, you could see that there's a lot of strange anomalies, and the images that are coming in have some speculating that this could be a craft, or this could be a large biosphere, as you heard Tolik talk in one of the messages. We also recall hearing what Jalila Star talk about Nibiru, this being Nibiru, and it was a planet. Whatever the case, there's a lot of strangeness surrounding this, and over the next couple of months we're going to see more and more of what's going on. October 1st, which is just 16 days away from now, 13 days away, something like that. Today's the 17th, so we've got 13 days. 14 days away will be October 1st, is the day it's supposed to pass by Mars. And so what's going to happen then, I'm sure scientists and NASA are paying attention so they know how Mars is affected, and they can kind of get an idea how we might be affected as well. So let me play this piece for you. Probably not going to play the whole thing. It's 13 minutes. Maybe I will. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, here we go.
September 16th, 2013. Guys, there's an article today that's going around. I'll put a link to the paper. It's a European newspaper. But it's saying that a new report prepared by the Federal Space Agency, in Russia they call it the Roscosmos, says circulating in the Kremlin today that states that Comet C12 S1, or C2012 as ISON, has made a number of unexplained orbital adjustments around the planet Mars, seemingly to better align itself with the red planet's strange moon Phobos. Now, they've had trouble, the Russians had, with all of their Mars missions, guys. We saw Phobos Grunt come down. Phobos 1 was, they think, was shot down. They're not sure what happened there. Not sure if the U.S. did it or what happened. Now, there's also a professor there, Ignacio Ferrin, in Colombia, that says in a paper submitted to the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, further noted that Comet ISON has been on a standstill for more than 132 days. This is a close-up of that image, guys, and these are just various color temperatures. Again, not sure what that is behind the main object inside this coma. Again, it could be a star in the background. Not sure we'll know on the images that come in tonight if it's still in the same place. But again, it's interesting just to see the various temperature changes and the differences in the image as you change these colors. Now, we're talking about Phobos and we're talking about Mars, and this is this is a joke for NASA. Most of the shots that they send from their rover look like Arizona and New Mexico, but this is Phobos, and it's a strange moon. We're getting some satellite images of it, and there's some strange things on the moon. And this one, you may have seen, it was circulating a while, that they found a monolith on this moon, and that's a picture of it, and this is a close-up of this thing. And the reason I'm talking about Mars and Phobos and the things like that, if you remember in the Anunnaki story, the Agigi they control the Mars base for the relay of the gold, and they're the ones that came down and married the women on Earth, kind of took them hostage. This is also Phobos. There's supposedly a pyramid there. And this is kind of an image. It's drawn up that shows the Phobos orbiting around Mars and the Mars Express taking those pictures that you saw. Now, this is the image that we had in the video the other day, the close-up of ISON, guys. And one of the things I want to point out is that it does not look like a comet in the center. But one of the things that I believe was confusing people is that I said we had accounted for the parallax factor. Now, that would be these three gray balls that you see here are three different images. My point was inside each one of those are three objects. So if they put the same photograph side by side 3 times, there's still 3 objects in each one, just to get that out of the way. Now, also, guys, we're talking about something that goes back in Anunnaki history pre-Egypt. But the Egyptians were about as close, those guys in the Sumerians, as we're going to get to this ancient religion and this ancient knowledge. Guys, does that look familiar right there, that red-winged object? Probably where the legend started. Now, guys, this is Amenhotep the third. This is the Pharaoh that was the one after Moses got the Israelites out of Egypt. Now, look at these pictures. What do you understand what you're looking at? These are the people that Moses dealt with. This is the son of the Pharaoh that Moses personally had to deal with. These are the people that pulled Moses out of the water. They taught him all the secrets. He was called the Prince of Egypt. He was not an Israelite. This is Nefertiti. This is the woman that you just saw in the images holding the 2 daughters. These are the 2 daughters. They're not human. Now imagine Moses standing there and Pharaoh saying, Moses, why do you really want to leave? And Moses says, when your kids are kind of freaking my kids out with big heads, kind of. Now, guys, the reason I'm going to go here is because we're talking about white gold. We're talking about the Anunnaki gold and what it was used for. There's reports that in the old stories they used it for their atmosphere, which they could have been chemtrailing, because they say there were some nuclear wars there that diminished their atmosphere pretty bad. But another reason, and it goes back to the ancient Egyptians and the Sumerians and Moses, guys, is this white powder gold. And you see a rush on it now. We buy gold everywhere you look. But it's got to do with the human body and the body in itself and some of the research that they're doing. But you're looking at the DNA and a chromosome within the DNA. And what happens is, as your cells divide, the tips of these chromosomes wear out. And you're looking at here, when the cell divides, you see the 1, 2, 3. Each time it divides, it wears that tip down called the telomerase. The telomeres. And what they've done, they figured out, is that because the telomerase is not there, these cells continue to split until they cannot do it anymore. When that tip wears off, or that telomere, then you start to die. The aging process, there's no more cell reproduction. Now, when they introduced telomerase, the chemical, into the cells, it says it's an enzyme that builds and maintains telomeres. It prevents shortening by adding extra pieces of DNA each time a cell divides. Now, on the right, you see the cancer cells and how they're active in dividing. That's how they discovered the telomerase. They were wondering, why are the cancer cells reproducing and very healthy in people that are old or young or in bad shape, but these cells are doing good. And they found that it was this telomerase. Now, when you're dealing with that, they found out that white powder gold, some of the silver metals, iridium, platinum, if they process it right, they can get this white powder. And this white powder goes back in ancient history. But this is a picture, guys, of what's called an immortal cell. Are you listening? This telomerase makes those cells immortal. So they're experimenting now, and it may help with cancer research. But here we're talking about the DNA, and it's a lot in this video, I understand it. But it says humanity's 120 variations have been divided into 33 subunits known as haplogroups. Those 33 are derived from 7 ancient females whom geneticists calculate were the founding matriarchs of our species. The 7 Daughters of Eve, it's a book by Brian Sykes, says this: every variation between every human haplogroup is well known and chronicled, and every human belongs to one of the 33 groups listed. Now, Moses was taught this alchemy. That's what it was. When they knew about this. Now, what happened in Exodus, guys, you want to go there and read it? As we look at some of these images of the helicopters and planes that were discovered inside the pyramids. But Moses went down from the mountain. Remember in Exodus, he came down, he found the golden calf that Aaron had made a fire for and got everybody to throw their gold in, and he came out a golden calf. Well, that's not how you make the white powder gold. That's just melting gold and putting it in a different form. But Moses came down, he was mad, he burnt the calf in fire, ground it into what? A powder, scattered it in water, and forced the Israelites to drink it. It says Aaron admitted collecting the gold and throwing it into the fire along with the cutting wood. He said it came out as a calf. Moses gave these people this anatomic gold, or monatomic gold, excuse me. And, you know, it says they walked in that wilderness. They never got blisters on their feet. But, guys, we're talking about Mars. We're talking about incoming objects. We're talking about the gold market today. Now, here it says white powder gold exists naturally in your body and is contained in small amounts in the herbs and foods that enhance the immune system and regeneration. The Egyptians and others created them in pure form. They understood an important alchemical quality regarding the use of these sacred monatomic elements to accelerate the ascension process. Egyptians initiates often fasted prior to and during the consumption of white powder gold as monatomic rhodium and iridium. It says this was not only for purification. They believed that the digestive acids in the stomach neutralized some of the alchemical products of the monatomic elements. Now, Moses was taught this, guys. Again, the Prince of Egypt. He knew this stuff. And look at the people he was dealing with. Now, the Hebrew word ormus means golden tree. And it's talking about the white gold and the elixir of life that the showbread and manna was made from. The white powder on the ground the Egyptians gathered up. This is said to be the reason the priest glowed when it came out of the Holy of Holies after eating the showbread. Guys, there was a specific way that had to be made. Special ingredients, 12 loaves brought into the temple, left so many days for this god to consume, and the priest could eat the rest. And remember when Moses came down that he was glowing, guys. And they have found that near that mountain, a foundry to make white powder gold. There was even some of it scattered around. That's where this manna was coming from, guys. Now, when you think about this, how does it apply? What are we looking at? And this question was brought up the other night after an ISON video, guys. What does it mean? Now, this is the Pharaoh that Moses had to deal with. Now, look at this. And look at the head, guys. These were not humans as we know them now. But it reminds me of some of the things that they talk about. We're talking about the reptilians. Look at that. They talk about the vulture rites. You know, both of those were represented in Egypt. Here you have the crocodile king being given showbread. This is where the reptilian started. This is where the stories about the reptilian started. And also the vultures or the vulture rites that are still dealing with us today, guys. There's a battle. The battle over Iraq just happened to get into those libraries. the whole Middle East is in an uproar? It's because of this. It's not about the little things that mans are doing. This is a cosmic battle to rule the world. That evil still exists, and these characters that you're looking at have their minions. The U.S. is one of them. Heads up.
All right, very interesting. So monatomic gold, I've had that before. Years ago, I had an opportunity. I had a little vial of it, and I would take a little bit. It really, it certainly was very energizing. And I found that, you know, my dreams would increase when I would do meditations. It would be very vivid. Definitely something to the monatomic gold. All right, that's it. Let's jump to our UFO news for today.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, 5 stories. Story number 1, this is over Belfast, Ireland. Look at this thing right here. All right, this was recently captured. Cave Hill, Belfast. I filmed this strange entity slowly moving west behind Cave Hill in Belfast. The first thing it looked like, the thing looked like it had legs at one point, then just at the end you could see it seems to double up the image, which seems to be the common with the interdimensional things I've filmed in the past. The orbs and the probes have doubled up a lot of times when filming. The entity seems to have 2 orbs within it. You will see the strange behavior of it. Sorry for the shaky footage, but when you see something like this in the sky, you grab your camera and start shooting as I did. And lucky enough, after I got the camera steadied up a bit, I zoomed in on a swift, small, fast bird, which I thought was the thing. Then I pan over to the right where the entity is, and it was good to get the bird in the same footage as it gives perspectives of what I'm capable of filming. This is the second time I've filmed one of these entities, and I've no doubt I'll film one again. They're being filmed more every day all around the planet. The activity in the skies lately is astonishing at times, and the multicolored living haze can be a bit of a trip at times. Some seriously strange cloud formations also. Keep an eye in the sky and a camera close by. Alright, very interesting. Moving on. Next we have a sighting over Australia on the 15th. There's our object in question. This is over Moonee Ponds, Australia. I think we can rule out a bird, balloon, or aircraft of this video. Please watch it before you comment. This was captured at 11:40 a.m. Moonee Ponds on the 15th of September. Alright, so we got first 2 videos here. There's object in question. Moving pretty fast. Definitely moving pretty fast. Okay, and here we got something else. Alright. Interesting. Alright. Let's keep moving on. Look at this here. So very interesting. Alright, check this one out over Australia. Next we're going to go over to Washington. Bremerton, Washington on the 15th also. This says new interesting footage of a dark UFO or orb recorded in the daytime above Bremerton, Washington. Okay. Very interesting indeed. And then we go over to interesting unknown lights hovering in the sky on Monday. Still not certain about the exact location of the sighting. Okay, but this is what we do have.
Zoom in.
A couple of bright lights up there.
Dude, there's 2 of them. What the hell?
Alright, very interesting indeed. Not sure what location this is.
There's something blinking.
Now there's a couple of them. 3, 4. Alright. Very interesting. So they're showing up all over the place.
Okay, one just disappeared.
And this very last piece here I want to play for you. I'm just going to go along and I will... This piece is almost 5 minutes in length. And it talks about, it says, we are here to impart some information that our partners from the extraterrestrial race has asked us to. This is going to be one of the first of many news bulletins concerning the coming Earth changes of 2012. December 21st, 2012, which is a cycle. A new cycle we are entering. It has nothing to do with the end of the world. All this anxiety because of 2012. We are simply commencing a new cycle, a new era. That's it. A new cycle where the sun is going to be and have an important role because there's going to be a lot of turmoil. We're going to be inaugurating, so to speak, our communication channels. We're going to have exclusive YouTube channels so that we can relay in the population all the information. That's these particular groups here. What I want to do is I will want to jump ahead a little bit here. And what they start showing you through the course of this are the various objects that are up by the sun. And we've seen a number of these. And this one here pulls away. There were those who said that this was sucking up stuff from the sun. And people didn't really know what this was. And then it says, when our partners, the ETs, advise us to explain this situation, what really happened there? Here's the question. So the sun is increasing activity, solar explosions are increasing more and more. So as I go to the end of this video, what I want you to show you here is where it gets into particular dates. Right here it talks about the 17th of December 2012 with the sun's activity, and then we go on and okay. So very interesting. So that is our UFO news. I know we've passed the December 21st date. That was a doorway, and this information is one piece of many bits of information out there talking about a shift that's about to go on. So I think we're in the time where we could see something. At least we're in the window of these dates that we're supposed to be paying attention to. Maybe it's just to keep us occupied down here on Earth. Maybe there's something to it. Anyway, that's the UFO news. I'll be right back. I have a bunch more.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth. People shouldn't be afraid.
Alright, continuing on. Got a bunch more stuff. So, let's turn our attention for a few moments to what happened yesterday. Yesterday we heard about the shooting in the Navy Yard. It's sad, again, that people have gotten hurt and our people are being shot. I want to remind you, remember when Obama got up, I think it was after Sandy Hook, and he said that we need to have this gun control, and he talked about that. I'm just paraphrasing. And in the course of it, he said something to the effect of there will be more of these things happen until we put these restrictions in place. Well, when I heard that, I didn't hear him saying as it could happen. I heard somebody who was threatening America that these things were continuing to happen in a very thug-like fashion. Okay? And certainly they have happened. Now, apparently there's been, from what I was reading, 15 of these events that have occurred, these type of shootings that have occurred since Obama's been in office. That's really quite high. And a lot of times, like yesterday, these shootings take place in areas where can't have the guns, gun-free zones. So the good guys don't have the guns, but the bad guys know that they can take the guns in. But the plot thickens. This piece right here is Dabu 7. I want to play this for you because he gets into some research about this. Pay attention. Very important that we pay attention to what's going on, because this is just getting started, and if we know the signs to look for, we can find out for ourselves if it's a false flag or not. Here.
This is Dabu 7, and this is an update on the situation in D.C. with the shooting. As of right now, 13 people have been declared dead, the latest dying from their wounds in the hospital. They are saying that the shooter is Aaron Alexis, a 34-year-old man from Fort Worth, Texas. They say he was a civilian contractor who reportedly stole a military ID to gain access to the Navy Yard. Now they're saying that one of the suspects, the white one with the beret that was in camo, that they questioned him and they cleared him and they let him loose. They didn't give a name. They haven't stated anything. Once again, this reminds me of Sandy Hook. So they've released this person, but even though the news just came on TV and they said that they're not looking for any more suspects, CNN turns around and says that they're still looking for this 50-year-old black male that had the long rifle. So they are still looking for him, and they have cleared one of the suspects, but they have not given his name. Now, the suspect that has been killed, they are saying, is this man Aaron Alexis? Did some digging on him in his background. He was arrested in 2010 for accidentally discharging a weapon, he stated, and it went through the floor of his neighbor's apartment. He never called the cops or said anything about this. They in turn showed up. They asked him a bunch of questions. They took him to jail for a day, and they released him. And it seems that he was never charged on this. He never was taken back to court and given any lengthy sentence or anything like that. Now, before Fort Worth, I can't find out any information on where he lived right this moment, but this is him. This is the guy that's dead, the one they are blaming. There's a whole story on his background right here. Even the guy that he rented from said there's no way. This guy was nice. It could have never been him. Here's a look at an upcoming drill that DHS had planned out just a couple days out for an active shooter drill right in the same area, D.C. So they have that on tap. Let's see if that actually goes down here in the next few days at all, now that this has happened. Why wouldn't it? And for those of you that haven't seen it, I just put out a video on the backup channel. Make sure you subscribe, Dabu7. It's busted proof of crisis actors. What you're seeing right here is a guy that witnessed the whole thing. They do not realize the cameras are rolling, and they're laughing their tails off. They go away for 5 seconds, come back. He's got a serious face on him. I mean, it's sick. It's sad. Anyway, there's proof. And for people that don't believe there's crisis actors out there, crisisactors.org right here. Come check this out. Look at all the photos. See for yourself. And you'll know that they have guys in uniform with weapons, dressed up as military personnel, as assault personnel, as police, and as victims with fake blood, fake shots, as you can see right here, the whole nine. It's crisisactors.org. It's real deal. I'll leave links as always. Till next time, this has been Dabu7. Eyes open. This is Dabu7.
Police, FBI. Shooter reported in military building at Washington Navy Yard. This was a day ago. This article was posted a day ago. It happened 5 hours ago. Let's click on it. Yeah, look, right here. It's Sunday, 15th of September, 2013. This was published at 11:30 last night. Eric Tucker and Brett Zonker, these are the two guys.
All right, so you can check that out. The link's available. But you see, there's something suspicious with this. The shooter itself has something suspicious going on. I didn't have the microphone, so you didn't hear what I was saying before. But, you know, there's reports that this guy had some mental problems, that he didn't remember the first shooting, which, you know, kind of makes me think of a Manchurian candidate. When something happens, he doesn't remember it. The reports that I was reading said that this guy had mental problems, complained of hearing voices and other things, and had this secret military clearance that never got turned in. So I don't know that he stole it or that he had it and nobody took it away. Whatever the case, there's a lot of strangeness around this subject. And of course, like we hear with all false flags, the lone gunman, right? We got to learn to look through these lies, folks, because they're right in front of our face. Now, here's a Facebook posting of this guy that is out there, of Alexis, and what this says, I'm looking down, this is on his Facebook page. Did he post this? I don't know. But it says, I'm looking down from heavens above. The clock stands still as the earth. We made a sign, a signal that we were heard. The 11th hour is near. On the 17th day of the 12th month, they are coming. Ancient sailors of space and time, a code to be remembered in history and rhyme. All shall be revealed in a mighty flash, and so the drums of the sitting bull hash. So come, stand ready, they are coming, but be steady. Be taken to the second place, our little gray saving grace. Now my body lies dead on fire, I did it all for you, my sire. Remember March 24th, 25th, and 26th in the year of 97? The away team left and went to heaven. Another world they saw, they live in awe. But they will return to save us all. And this is my story of fame and glory. My testimony is my word, and all I have, for today I have joined the away team. Okay, so this kind of lends itself to the idea of what's going on with ISON. And again, he mentions the 17th day of the 12th month. The video I played just a few moments ago also talked about the 17th day of the 12th month. It was referring to the year 2012 as opposed to the year 2013. Nonetheless, 17th day of the 12th month. There are those out there looking at the Mayan calendar saying that actually the date is this coming year, because when we calibrated the Mayan calendar and looking at it, we were counting the year 0 as a year, and the Mayans don't count 0 as a year. Therefore, we were off in that regards. So, again, something just to pay attention to. Very interesting. Now, if we move along to this next story here, this next one here is a story that, you know, if people paid more attention to what so-called conspiracy theorists say, they'd be much better off. Global warming is just half of what we said. World's top climate scientists admit computers got the effects of greenhouse gases wrong. What? You mean there were people out there, conspiracy theorists, saying for a long time that there were lies and people didn't believe them, and now scientists have come out and admitted that they were wrong? You know, folks, if you just listen to the conspiracy theorists, you will have the information before the crooks start revealing it themselves. A leaked copy of the world's most authoritative climate study reveals scientific forecasts of imminent doom were drastically wrong. All right, I'm going to leave the article for you on that. And that says enough, that they were wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. All right, and then we're going to jump over here. I want to jump back to the shooting. This is reality check, and this is Wide Awake News, Charlie McGrath. Let's hear what he has to say today.
Hi, my name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com, and I host on the Rinse Radio Network. I just finished an interview on RT about the mass shooting at the Naval Shipyard today, and I wanted to put out a quick video, some quick information on this story. You know, since 2001, we've seen a dismantling of the Constitution. Legislation passed to promise security. We have to give up some freedom to get there, but we're going to be promised security. This individual that they killed, they're blaming for this shooting at the shipyard, had a secret clearance. He worked at a naval shipyard, working on intranet systems for the Navy as well as the Marine Corps. He was in the United States Navy until 2011, when he was kicked out for misconduct for crimes he committed a few years prior, yet was still able to achieve this secret clearance. It goes to show you that billions, trillions of dollars can be spent building out our security, our Stasi-style police state. But in reality, in a nation of 310 million people, you're going to have lunatics. And lunatics cannot be predicted. They're just going to show up in a nation of this population or in a planet of 7 billion people. You can't legislate away crazy. So let's look at the numbers. Horrific as it is to see these kind of events happen. Loved ones are devastated for the rest of their life, as well as obviously people losing their lives. I'm not here to marginalize it, but I am here to say since 2000, about 25 people a year have been killed in mass shootings. Horrific. However, if you take that number and double it, you still don't have the number of people who are killed by bee stings every year. But where's the outrage? Where's the anger? Where's the legislation? Where's the town halls? Where's the weeping in front of the cameras for these individuals who are being killed? It's not there. You see, because there's no constitutional amendment guaranteeing your right to keep and bear bees, but there certainly is a constitutional right to keep and bear arms, and this has been under assault for years. And again, this will be used in order to tell you what you can and cannot do in order to protect yourself or in order to enjoy that Second Amendment right, and that the government can do it better for you. But in reality, in this instance right here, it's a microcosm of this country. You have an individual who served in the military, was kicked out, yet was still able to go back to work for the military and achieve a secret clearance. Security from a centralized government, the promise of security if you give up your freedom, is an absolute and utter lie. We need to realize that Benjamin Franklin was right all those years ago when he said those who are willing to give up their freedom in order to obtain security will get and deserve neither. My heart goes out for myself and Wide Awake News to the victims and the family of the victims of this mass shooting, but let's keep this in perspective. Stories are attached. That's all I got.
All right, so very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. But he was just talking about Second Amendment. So I want to show you something which is taking place behind the scenes. Okay, the Second Amendment is supposed to be the right to bear arms, and it's supposed to be one of these things that doesn't get changed. Okay, doesn't get changed. Pick up a Constitution, read the words. It doesn't get changed. That's it. But let me show you what they've got going in the new school books. Remember, Texas, they rewrote history in the new school books. They took Thomas Jefferson out because he talks about revolution. Can't have that. Now, this is what they're doing with the Second Amendment. High school AP history book rewrites Second Amendment. Second Amendment, the people have the right to keep and bear arms in a state militia. No, that's not the Second Amendment that was written. That was not the Second Amendment. The people have the right to bear arms, period. This is, you can't change this. This is the law. This is the what's there. You can't change that. But they keep trying to take it away. Now what they're doing is they're going to put this into the minds of kids because the young kids are on attack. They're going after the young kids and their minds. The reason we have things going on is there's a lot of stupid people in this world who don't understand what's going on. So that's how we get security procedures are breached, because you have stupid people involved with all of these systems. If we encourage ourselves to become smarter, and guess what? We'll make smarter choices. If we teach the real laws, the real Constitution, instead of this BS that you're trying to push, we will actually know how to defend ourselves and protect ourselves and stand up for ourselves. But when they put this garbage in there so young people see it and they say, oh, the right to keep and bear arms in a state militia, it's a bold-faced lie. It's lying. It's not what our founding fathers set in place. And the people who change this, shame on them. They're just part of the problem. But don't worry. Don't worry about it. Because the promise is the wicked and the ungodly are going to be removed. For those people who did this, oh, your days are numbered. Your days are numbered with all the other criminals and bad guys around here. I'm not going to do anything about it. You've already made your own beds. The stories tell, the prophecies tell, the wicked and the ungodly are going to be removed. So if you're one of the wicked and the ungodly, guess what? You got a problem. This is the time of the light. The darkness is dissipating, so you better get on the right team, and if not, too bad. Hasta la vista. That's the end for you. So get on the right side of things. Get with the light. Step away from all the negativity out there. Now, this piece here talks about how negative energy affects your life and how to clear it. We got tons of negative energy every single day being thrown at us, from televisions to the commentators on the television to the politicians to the bankers to on and on and on and on. Tons of negativity. And then, of course, people in the world who, we hear the term monkey see, monkey do. It's a term we use for how earthlings see something and they repeat it over and over and over. Well, that's what we do. So when someone does something negative, another person does it because they follow along. It's like all the idiots who are out there who are following along with Miley Cyrus. I mean, I feel bad for all the mothers who have to tell their little girls to quit behaving the way Miley did. But that's what people put out in front of us. Those are the examples that are getting put out, and then people copy those behaviors. It's very simple. We need to stop these negative energies. So this here, how negative energy affects your life and how to clear it. You like attracts like, right? So here's the deal. Positive people are drawn to positive energy. Negative people are drawn to negative energy. We tend to perceive negative energy as something other people have. Sure, sometimes we feel negative, as in, go away or leave me alone world. But did you know that negativity can be so ingrained in you that it goes unnoticed? That's because negativity sometimes wears a disguise called reality. It's easy to rationalize just because you're being realistic and not daring to act on a dream and believe it. You may assume that positive people are not being realistic, that they're being naive, that they are in denial with their head stuck in the sand, that they have been put on fake smiles in the face of difficulty and so forth. But they are really happy idiots, or is there something in their positivity? Well, consider this. When you do something, being realistic necessarily means that things will go wrong and you have to accept them as truth. This doesn't mean that being realistic is automatically negative. When you view the world from a realistic standpoint, you can't help but be negative if your version of reality is negative. If your version of reality is negative, you are conditioned to believe that whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and whatever can go right will probably go wrong too. Your unconscious held beliefs make you into a negative person, and you will without you being aware of it. So if they're so ingrained you don't notice it, how do you determine whether you're being stuck in a cloud? So here we have a quick gauge of things that kind of let you know what energy you're working with. Do you complain a lot? Do you often discuss what's wrong in the world more than what's right? Do you criticize? Are you at blame? You feel like a victim? On and on and on. Good article. Read the article. We need to get rid of the negative energy. We'll focus on that today during the course of the meditation. Book of Revelation. Here's today, Revelation 12. Revelation 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another woman in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon the heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them down to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and unto his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared for God, that they should feed her here for 1,260 days. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragons fought against the angels. And neither prevailed not, neither was their place found in any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, and was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ, for the accusers of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heaven, that ye dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is to come to you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that the hour is but short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that she might be caught up and carried away with the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. That is Revelation 12. And speaking of Jesus, here is Jesus reading for today. Here we go.
Jesus, the results of the collapse of the dark's nefarious agendas are coming plainly into view.
September 17, 2013, by John Smallman.
We are watching over you with love and compassion, and we do see the doubts, worries, fears, and suffering that so many of you are undergoing in these final moments of the old ways in which conflict and betrayal are rife. The divine field of love is constantly holding you firmly and gently, as you make your way along your homeward paths, to ensure that any stumbles or falls cause you the minimum of suffering. It is a hard slog, and your patience and fortitude are exemplary as you continue to move forwards with unfailing determination. Some of you have been tempted to throw in the towel, to give up, but not one of you has done so, even though it might seem that some of you have, for you are far stronger than you are aware of, and we can assure you that not one of you will fail to complete the journey. You are coming home to reality, and arrival at that divine destination is inevitable. Humanity at large is also making tremendous progress towards awakening, enormously assisted by your loving intent that this be so. Be aware of the suffering that many are still experiencing. Intend to send love and compassion to them in every moment, but do not focus your attention there. Look for and focus your attention on the good news, because that uplifts and inspires you, and intend for it to be widely known, widely promulgated, and take joy in it. Your joy uplifts you, and the energy that flows through you as a result of that joy inspires others. You are all doing what you incarnated to do, and you are doing it extremely well. Congratulations are in order. Much of what is good that is occurring across the world is because you light bearers and way showers are intending that it happen. And as it happens, more and more are uplifted and inspired by what they see and hear, and they then add their intent to the collective, as you have been doing for so long, to help direct it into new loving attitudes that will strengthen the foundations on which these monumental changes are built and ensure that there is no backsliding. Humanity has collectively made the choice to awaken, and that decision is known and honored throughout the spiritual realms, and a choral symphony of incredible beauty is playing now throughout creation as a precursory celebration in advance of the grand celebrations which will greet you as you awaken. To be alive as a human at this point in your spiritual evolution is a privilege and an honor, and enormous numbers of beings, far more than could be accommodated, wish to be present on Earth at this time to assist in and be a part of the changes occurring. You were all invited to be a part of this grand venture, and every one of you chose to accept that invitation. Nevertheless, for many of you now it is extremely hard to envisage anyone wanting to be on Earth as the present multitudinous, ongoing, chaotic and confusing events and situations, military conflicts, political instabilities, economic turbulence, and religious scandals continue to bring pain and suffering to so many. However, most of you also realize that things cannot continue like this for very much longer, and in this you are utterly correct. And of course you also knew this when you accepted your invitations to be present on Earth and assist with the awakening of humanity. The balance between light and dark, which seems from your perspective to have been weighted most heavily in favor of the latter for eons, is finished. The light has prevailed, no other possibility ever existed, and the results of the collapse of the dark's many nefarious agendas are coming plainly into view. The brilliant light of God's love for all of His divine creation is rapidly dispersing the dark, and only a very few remote enclaves remain, in which those who choose to block out love can continue to embrace darkness. And as the light on Earth continues to intensify due to the strengthening collective intent that it do so, the few last remaining members of old established organizations that have for so long cherished the dark and the apparent power it gave them will shortly have to choose either to embrace the light, as most will, or they will move on to environments in which they can continue to play their unhappy games for as long as they choose to do so. But even they will eventually turn around and embrace the light, because it is impossible to deny one's nature permanently, and all that exist are by their very nature beings of light. There is only light, and darkness is merely illusory, a nothingness that is unreal but seems real when one closes one's eye to the light. But all will open their eyes because the light shining upon them is far too bright to resist. Your loving brother, Jesus.
Very nice message for today. That brings us to our angel message. And the angel message is: Do not shut yourself from life or experience. You have no need to be fearful. We are here with you. Very nice. Good positive message about strength and being fearless. You know, I saw a post I was reading yesterday. It was, how do you become fearless? You just got to do it. You just got to be fearless. That's it. It's just you got to take whatever fear. People have fear. Fear is an emotion. Okay? The emotions get pushed and fear gets activated. So you got to find another emotion that counteracts fear. You know what it does? Love. So if you focus on love, you can counteract the fear. If you focus on God, you can counteract the fear. Fear is just perceived. It's not real. Okay? So focus on the things that are positive and helpful, and that's what we want to do. So take a deep breath. Exhale. Close your eyes. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. I want you to imagine that you are sitting on a hillside looking over the world. And you have a good view of the valley below. And you can see all around. And as you see around, you can see a layer of light. And you can see a layer of darkness. And you recall how the darkness has seemed so strong for such a long period of time. But as you look around the world, you see that this line of darkness is much smaller than you remember it. And you see that the line of light is more than double the size of the darkness, and is slowly squashing the darkness out of existence. And as the light shines brighter, all things associated with the darkness, the negativity, the deceit, the fear, the corruption, the doubts, is all dissipated along with the darkness. All those leaders around the country who are just puppets for the shadow government, we find that they disappear from their ways of darkness. Some of them embrace the light, and some of them move forward, and others do not, and fall by the wayside with all the other negativity and darkness. And as we continue to understand this, we realize that the promise is the returning of the light. And with the returning of the light comes the returning of all that is good, the positivity. The promise is for the wicked and ungodly to be removed, that we might be able to continue forward. So we remember this promise, the promise of the love, the promise of the light. And in that we remain fearless and steadfast. We know that fear exists in the world because of the emotions and in the minds of men and women around the planet. But we know that love counteracts fear, so we send love out right now to all of those who are experiencing fear. We send out love, that at this moment love dissipates that fear and replaces it with the feeling with love that fills their life with light, with the love that they need to move through situations. We send this love all around the planet to all of those who are challenged and having problems, and we send it to all of those who are the leaders around the country, knowing that this love will either destroy them or it will transform them. But either way, it will change them, one way or the other, and it will all be for the good. For if it changes them positively, that is for good, and if it destroys them so they can't be negative anymore and spread their corruption into the world, that is equally as good. So we just keep sending love, my friends, sending love. And imagine this love going around the world. over and over and over and again, and imagine the world immersed with this green and bright emerald green colored love, and just see the word love written across the planet, and just see all the darkness and the doubts and the fears dissipate from the love, dissipate, and the world becomes brighter and happier and more positive. And this is what is available to us, and all we have to do is focus on it. So hold this focus in your mind, my friends, as you go into the world today. Hold this focus of love and know that every time you send out love, you are changing the world. You are transforming the world. You are getting rid of the darkness. So keep sending out love. Let your subconscious mind go on that journey, and wherever you are today, send out love. Send out love and watch it transform the world around you. Let's take another deep breath. Exhale. Let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it. That's it, my friends. Go into the world and take love into the world. There's enough negativity and stuff that's out there. We don't have to buy into it. We can be aware that it's there, but we don't have to pay attention and buy into what it's selling. We don't have to accept it. Think of a gift. If somebody gives you a gift and you don't want it, and you give the gift back, it goes back to them. So if somebody tries to hand you negativity or doubt or fears, think of it as a gift you don't want and give it right back. Watch the reaction on that person when you give them back their own negativity. You don't have to do it in a mean way. Just say, here, I don't want it. And watch the surprise on their face when you hand them back their negativity and their doubts. Watch how they are changed by that. I guarantee it will bring a surprise to the people around you when you do something like that. Keep loving, my friends. We can change the world. That's what we're supposed to do, and all this negativity and all this nonsense and the BS is just that. Think good, think God. It's all going to work out. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, be safe, keep loving each other, and have a great day. Peace. I'm out of here.